Alright, you lovely people, welcome to the channel. Today we're gonna indulge a little bit into more Led Zeppelin. We did the first video, I think, a few weeks ago, a few days ago, a few weeks. Come on, man. It's not that late. Your brain, it's not Friday yet, alright? Just take some lion's mane or whatever. Alright, so we're gonna check Immigration Song live, 1972. I wasn't born, okay? Also, I wasn't born. This is 1 year before the video at the Madison Square Garden. In Australia, if I'm correct, if I'm not wrong, if something is right about what I'm talking about, it could be. Man, look at the stadium, like, look at that. I mean, Led Zeppelin had a rise to, like, what it was from 79. This is literally 3 years after. They're just like basically peak, almost peak. Oh yes. You know, when I was growing up listening to Led Zeppelin as a teenager in the early '90s, mid '90s, you know, when I heard him sing, I of course I didn't understand, right? I just thought that he could do this with his chest voice, and you know, felt so utterly frustrating to try to mimic because he's literally into the star there. Then later on, when I've learned a little bit, you know, singing and learning about singing, you realize that he's using a form of falsetto reinforced by the resonance of his body and chest. Um, and still, like when he does those glissando up there, it's just wow. Especially really the early years. I mean, this is says live. To me, sounds like a little bit like the recorded version because this sounds like fantastic, phenomenal. Honestly, all of them. My God. My God, the riff. First of all, just a second. I want to listen to that together. Again, the guitar and the voice. So first of all, I have to say, like, the sound of Led Zeppelin here is just fantastic. The '70s to me are a fantastic time because you see, like, this sort of like a peak expression of being free, not being too much concerned with you know, that's probably why the hippies movement was born, right? After the war, there was also a lot of decency and civility to a point where, let's say, it was stifling a little bit the youth, right? Because that type of behavior was pushed on the youth as well. So there wasn't so much room for self-expression because there was a lot of, yeah, after World War II type of nonsense, right? Behavior. So try to fit in line, try, you know, to do your thing, and that's it, and it's good enough. But it's wonderful that gave birth to rock and roll in the 50s, and then to this type of rock later in the 60s, sing-songwriting, and then to this little bit harder rock here in the early 70s. And to me, this is peak, honestly. Even though I wasn't there, I was born in 76. Um, and I wasn't there, and sometimes I think we peaked in many ways here musically, and we peaked also culturally in many ways. Um, because a lot of this stuff really was invented for the first time. The sound, the way, the amplification, and the way they put it together. So it was high tech, right? Even though analog or with less electronic, um, and was also innovative. And nowadays we are still living off the way songs were structured more or less here. Also a little bit before, but you know what I mean. Like here was newer, it was closer probably to the source. The way of structuring the song versus chorus, solo versus back to the chorus and then resolution or the end, sort of that type of format. But this song is powerful, it's mighty, it's energetic. John Paul Jones, man, I don't know how many times I have to say it. People don't praise this guy enough. But all four of them, they were uniquely matched and incredible. Wow, I didn't know this one. Oh man, that passage of the drum right there. Oh my god, and the sound of that guitar. You realize that, Jimmy Page is alone and he's carrying that in incredible way. When you realize it's just four of them, it's crazy. Man, it's really crazy. Like band in the 80s, I mean, really took on this type of structure, took on this type of band and this type of sonority. Um, you can definitely say Led Zeppelin copied here and there, reused some song, fine, whatever, but in their originality in terms of sound and energy together and just dynamic, and they were like a matched to me. It's my only, gripe is that, well, gripe, it's not a gripe, like the only sadness I feel, obviously, like many super fans or fans in general, is that unfortunately the fucking drugs took the life of John Bonham, and that really pisses you off because they could have gone on a little longer. Doesn't mean they could have produced probably the best of the best, but you never know. Bands go through. Maybe they would have survived. The demolition of indulgences and abuses, right? And maybe come back. Maybe they would have done a great album in the early 90s, Why not? So really something was took away from the world, I must say. Another band, of course, managed to continue. The same thing you can say for, the Beatles. They broke up and then they lost, one of the more important. And then, actually the first one, John Lennon died much younger, I think in 81 or 80, unfortunately. Not died, he was murdered, unfortunately. A lot of conspiracy there. Let's not get into that. But now that I think about what is going on in the world today, with all these crazy leftists going around just taking a shot, reminding me of the Red Brigades, right? PsyOps or CIA, whoever is involved, man. And then you think of John Lennon in the way that he was vocal against everything, vocal against the system, vocal against a lot of things that probably a lot of people behind the deep state weren't very happy with that type of behavior. All speculation, I'm talking out of my ass, namely my mouth. But yeah, you start to wonder those things. Anyway, Led Zeppelin, my God, I didn't know this solo, I didn't know this version, I didn't know this energy, right? In this part right here. Um, I'm actually happy because, like I told you, I've always been a big fan, and I've listened to them a lot with the discs or tapes that I had in the 90s. So, and honest to be told, truth to be told, I don't even know if I know every single song very well. Maybe there are several songs I don't know because there are a few albums like I'm not super familiar, like Coda, for instance. Um, and maybe some iterations of lives which I weren't available to me, or bootleg, all those type of things. Maybe I should indulge now because I'm looking at this and I just realized I never heard this version in this part, and I find it freaking fantastic, man. You're just blowing my mind, honestly. Wow, man. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, honestly. That's the other show there, probably, in the future. Wow, what a performance. Probably have light all over my face. I want to do more Led Zeppelin, also classic. So if I get the support of both the audience already that I have on the channel, because of obviously this stuff reaches everyone: Brazilian, Argentinian, Indonesian, Mexican, which is a big part of my audience, North American, of course, and North European, so Japanese, so Filipinos as well. So let's join all together, do some classics, right? I think it's the time after many years of doing every music of around the globe or a lot of countries. I think it's in place that we do also some classics, right? As a channel. So I appreciate the support. Like the video, leave a comment, leave also 2 comments, 3 comments. I try to reply when I have time and go through the comments. And the more of that, the better for the algorithm bullshit and everything. But at the end of the day, man, wow, we have had Led Zeppelin. And if you were like, I got some people saying like, oh, I was at the concert in '73. I mean, I cannot even imagine, man. I was lucky. I saw Robert Plant here in the Paradiso alone, but I feel blessed that, because they were like, 2000 or 2001, I think. I have to check. Man, I feel so blessed I had the chance to see Robert Plant live, 25, 26 years ago, honestly. So fantastic, really. If I would have